Where's Branden? Branden. There he is. My brother in arms, Branden Bollinger, joining the podcast a little late today because it is Monday, August 18th, and the Dodgers have righted the ship. Little brothers no more. They were little brothers for 48 hours, and they are maybe not big brothers. I'm officially declaring them the Padres' daddy, Branden. They are big brothers no more. We are back. It's Deferred Collusion. It's me, Jesse, Roki of Crespi, joined as always by Branden Bollinger, Lord Paramount of Los Angeles, California. Branden, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Jesse, sorry I was running a little late. I was
Yeah.
busy putting the brooms away. There's been a lot of sweeping in these Los Angeles streets. If I would
Get a
have
little
told
closer to
you
the microphone.
we were going to get the sweep after this Angels debacle, where the Anaheim Angels have firmly planted their flag as the owners of Los Angeles,
Yeah.
I guess all we needed to right the ship was just for baby bro to come on up and get in a little headlock, huh there, Jess?
Yeah, we gave him
What
a
a big
noogie this
sweep.
weekend.
So much to get into. Is Mookie turning it around? Kershaw, the GOAT still got it. Snell, late start, but a killer in the second half. Glass now racking up the Ks. Lots to be excited about, and even a new face, right? Jess, like you said in the notes, who the fuck is Buddy Kennedy? We got all that and
Oh, yeah.
more, but we're back, and it's so good to see you, Jesse. I missed you, brother.
Missed you
Some
too.
dark days as a Dodger fan lately, huh? It's hot,
Yeah.
it's cold, but when you need them most,
But the
when our
Dodgers made their biggest
freaking hearts are
acquisition
on
of
the
the
line.
season. Yeah, they made their biggest acquisition of the season by they brought up Buddy Kennedy, which was the move that they
Huge.
needed to make to turn things around. No, you know what it reminds me of? Like with the Padres Dodgers stuff. It's when like your older brother who's kind of always beat you in every fight, he's always been better than you at sports.
Mm.
You start to get a little bit bigger, and then he's kind of not expecting you. Like one day he looks and it's like all of a sudden he's like kind of getting closer to my height. He's kind of getting
Mm.
closer to my size, and then you like beat him for the first time in like I don't know, like a game of what, like ping pong or something. Beat him in a game of ping pong, and then you're like kind of just catches you off guard. What the Dodgers did was they just kind of like, they tightened up their bootstraps. I don't know if is that a saying? Tightened up their bootstraps. They gave the Padres a noogie and a raspberry this weekend.
I thought you were about to say, like, whoa, they really gave those boys what for. You sound like a
Right.
boomer, but you look great.
Yeah. No, they
Um,
gave him a good spanking this weekend, and
they
kind of
definitely
just
did. They definitely did.
reminded him.
There was some smacking around, some dramatics. There was, on paper, a blowout, but there was everything you needed from a Dodgers fan perspective to just kind of ease the shakes that we've been getting the last month and a half from our boys in blue. And let me tell
Yeah.
you, as your blue collar boys, everybody on the job sites have been a little stressed out, little on edge that we just can't seem to either be healthy or playing well. And it's just like, hey, if you're
Well,
playing well, you're not healthy and get out of here. And if you're not playing well, guess what? You fucking are starting Michael Conforto.
yeah.
But
Well,
hey,
give some
every
perspective
dog
to
has
it.
his day. He got a little scrap in there, huh?
He had a big moment, but yeah, I mean, when you consider that the Dodgers had a 9-game lead, just like a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
They go into that series against the Angels with a 2-game lead, and they get swept. So they go 0-6 against the Angels this year,
Ugh,
right? 0 and
brutal.
6, and then the Padres play the Giants, who just have completely dissolved since the Rafael Devers trade.
Talk about a jinx, huh? I did not see that one
Yeah,
coming. I remember when
Padre.
they made that move, we were like, dude, are the
Yeah,
Giants for real? And we're like, only time will tell. But if we know anything about them pesky Bay Area boys, they're gonna be good. But boy, have they stunk, and it's been pretty sweet.
yeah, and so for this series to turn out the way that it did after the Padres took over the division for 48 hours or whatever it was, I mean, this obviously could not have gone any better, not just from the standpoint of like taking the division back, but just kind of, I think, reminding fans that the Dodgers team is still, geez, my lighting is all messed up. I don't know what's going on here. It's like going crazy. That the Dodgers
Get it
are
together, dude.
still, they're still the better team. But it does get a little frustrating knowing that that they swept them, knowing that we had this 9 game lead, because it just feels like 2 games is still a little too close for comfort for me right now, especially with the way the Padres were playing going into this game. Because I do still think that they're a very good team, but
Oh, totally.
I think that this was a big gut punch for them and their fans in a big way. I think there's a lot of coping going on in Padre land because I think that they were expecting something better, and they didn't just not play well. I mean, they got beat in kind of every facet of the game, so we'll talk about it. The Dodgers starting pitching, I think, is probably the big takeaway here of
Definitely.
how the series went. Kershaw, Snell, and Glasnow all pitched really well. Clayton Kershaw, we're going to talk about him a little bit later, but 6 innings, 1 run. Snell, 6 innings, no runs, and then Glasnow pitched 5 innings, gave up 2 runs. Um, Probably should have gotten the win. Bullpen kind of almost blew the game a little bit. But did you just change your microphone?
No. One
Okay, I'm
second.
hearing.
My AC turned on, dude.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So yeah, the Dodgers starting pitching compared to the Padres starting pitching is like the real takeaway here because Dylan Cease got shelled. He 3 1/3, gave up 5 runs, had 6 walks. Darvish couldn't get out of the first inning before he gave up 4 runs, gave up a 3 run home run to Freddie Freeman. So that to me was like the big reminder, like, okay, when this team's starting pitching is healthy, they they can beat any team in the league. It doesn't matter how stacked that team is. They have the best starting pitching in baseball when fully healthy. And it's just I was really impressed with the way that it played out. But man, Clayton Kershaw, Brandon, I this was I've heard other podcasts talking about this. This was a season where we were just sort of expecting it to be his farewell tour,
Yeah.
where we weren't expecting him to be, much of a contributor. He would just kind of be an innings eater for the Dodgers. I'm making the argument here that he's probably been the Dodgers' most important pitcher this year. When you consider Dustin May is gone, who was the Dodgers' big innings eater, now it's Kershaw who's taken the biggest load so far of
Whoa.
the season.
No
Yeah, I
duty.
know. Weird choice of words there, and
No duty.
he's just shined. He has his ERA is down to 3.01. He's doing it with an 88-mile-an-hour fastball.
Woo.
All of the metrics are bad. Like you look under the hood, there's, his all of his spin is down, his velocity is down, his FIP is up, like his expected ERA is up, but he still just finds a way to do it. I mean, he's like what used to be strikeouts are now, hard ground ball double plays. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing he's doing it. He only threw 75 pitches in 6 innings. He could have gone longer, and I'm in awe of this man, and I'm just happy that he's getting this. If this is his final season, I'm happy that he's doing it the way that he is.
Jesse, there used to be a term in baseball for this type of play, and it was called pitching. Stuff over velocity, as we've been talking about. Kirsch is maybe ushering in a new era, or the ushering in of a forgotten era of
Yeah, an
pitching,
old
of
era.
stuff
Yeah,
over velo. There's been some comparisons to Greg Maddux, but he's painting. He's using the slider, the fastball right down Main Street when he's gonna, hide it from you. But he's getting a lot of ground outs and pop outs. Does that maintain in the playoffs? Do they start to travel out against better hitting teams? Who knows? But that near sub 3 ERA isn't lying, like you were saying. When you look under the hood, the FIP's bad, some of the spin metrics are bad, but you look at the wins and you look at the ERA, And things are pretty good, Team's winning. And Jesse, didn't it feel nostalgic just coming in from a sweep? We need somebody to stop the bleeding. And
Yeah.
who is it but none other than old friend King Clayton Kershaw, once again having the back of every Dodger fan out there. Whether you're stuck in traffic on the drive home or you're watching the game, started while you're cooking dinner for the kids, whatever. That's what we needed, was just vintage Kershaw. Who would have loved for him to get 6 or more Ks? I would have, but I'll take the 3 Ks, the 1 earned run or whatever. Jess, I think he's given up 2 earned runs in his last 18 innings of work. I mean, like you said, a guy hurling 89-mile-an-hour fastballs out there
Yeah.
gives hope to all the beer league softball guys that if
I
there's
know.
just a scout in the crowd, he's gonna see me hit this nuke and I'm gonna get a shot, dude. Call me Vogelbach.
I mean, no, I love the way you put that. I mean, that the Dodgers are reeling, given the division away, and I mean, he just puts the team on his back. It's like he turned back the clock, like the stopper that he's always been. Just unbelievable. Another unbelievable stat about him is, here he is over the past 3 seasons. Hey, hey, over the
Hey,
past
Michaela, what's up, girl?
over the past 3-4 seasons, this has been his decline. This has been the end of his career, essentially. Since 2022, we've basically seen the decline of Clayton Kershaw, the velocity go down, injuries piling up, that he is, he's clearly on the way out. Every season, we're like, could this be it? And yet, since 2022, he still has the best ERA for qualified pitchers in Major League Baseball. It just unbelievable that this is still happening. And I mean, when you talk about a guy, most, like, remember David Wells when he retired, Roger Clemens when he retired,
Mm-hmm.
they just weren't quite the same. I know Clemens was pretty good at it, but Wells, he was ending his career with like a 5 ERA, a 6
Yeah,
ERA. Clayton Kershaw's ending his career with a 3 ERA.
crazy.
It's unbelievable. I'm just so happy that he's getting this moment, because I know that obviously last year, was kind of bittersweet for him winning the World Series, but not able to be a contributor.
Yeah.
He's contributing in a major way, and he's the most important pitcher on the team. While we've had all these injuries, so I'm just kudos to that guy.
Hey, mark my words, he's gonna be a huge help for a young guy like Roki Sasaki, who's not sure if he's gonna be able to get that velo back or not. But there's a lot of wisdom he can pick up from Clayton Kershaw about, hey, using your pitch and using it the way you need to get outs. Like, don't forget, you're a pitcher first. Even though you got that Ferrari motor, what are you gonna do if it goes out on you? You gonna quit or you gonna finish the race? Our boy Kirsch finished the race, dude. I've been
Yeah,
watching a lot of cars with my daughter, so
I like it. I could imagine Kirsch like leading by example for Roki, but I can't imagine like Roki and Kirsch like, I don't know, like sitting down like having Kershaw strikes me as a guy that's kind of like, he's not gonna. I don't know. I don't see them really having conversations. I feel like that's more Yamamoto and Shohei, in my
I don't know,
opinion. But
man. Maybe you're just being racist, but Kershaw and Yu
maybe,
Darvish, when they were teammates,
yeah,
they worked out together in Texas in the off
that's true.
season.
But they
Uh,
were also two of the
Kershaw
best in the
spoke
league at the
very
same
highly
time.
about Yamamoto and the way he works. So
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know. Maybe you're
All right.
being a little bit of a DEI guy, dude, and you should
All right.
knock it
Maybe I
off.
might be. I might be. Um, either
I'm not
way.
done blow. I think I just got a gnat up my nose. Oh my
Okay.
god, or
Yeah.
something. Dusties.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
How
Either
dare you?
way, Dodgers starting pitching stands out. Their bullpen was also pretty good against the Padres. Everybody's
Little
talking about
scary.
this Padres bullpen, which did look pretty good, but the Dodgers pen, they took care of business. They pitched 10 innings, gave up 3 earned runs in the series, gave up 4 in total, but yeah, it did get a little scary at times. We did see Trinan kind of figure some things out. Vesia closed it out yesterday.
Vesia
Uh,
looked good. That was a huge, huge.
yeah,
I think it was an inning and a third. He took on Sunday's game because he's had a little bit of a struggle and he's really, I mean, in this big series, really stepped up. took the big innings, because it's been pretty unsure who's going to be the guy to come take in the ninth, since Tanner Scott's been down, the plethora of injuries, still waiting on Kopech to return. You dork Jesse telling me he
I
wasn't,
know.
dude.
I heard about that
Um,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
haters got you quick, dude. But what else? I mean, dude, now there's talk about Bruzdar might not be back. But then I saw on his Instagram he was talking about he was pitching. I don't. So who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
somebody can give us some better information in the comment section. But Jess, there's a lot to be a little perked up about. I mean, especially I can't get over how distraught I was after the Angels
Yeah.
swept us.
I mean, I didn't want to talk about the Dodgers last week. I mean,
Ugh.
that's not the reason why we didn't record, but I didn't want to really talk about them much. I was pretty frustrated, pretty disappointed with the way they were playing. I was ready to post a thank you fans graphic on our social media, calling it the 2025 Major League Baseball season. But no, this was a series that really just kind of put things in perspective for me to remind me that, this team always has the big picture in mind.
Yeah.
They play a team like the Padres, who you expect that they probably will have to face in October, most likely once again. And to do what they did to them, they didn't just beat them, they demoralized them. I mean, the Padres came out of the series demoralized, but also the fan base, I think, came out demoralized. I saw some comments on Padres social media. I mean, there was like infighting going on with Padres fans.
Whoa.
Pretty fun stuff if you're a hater like me. So I had a good time with that.
Jesse Rowe is a hater,
Yeah.
dude.
Speaking of being a hater, oh no, you know what? First, let's talk about the big heroes offensively of the series. Teoscar Hernandez hit a couple of home runs, so he played. He's probably like the MVP of the series. Freddie Freeman hit a 3-run homer off of Darvish, which was great to see because he was kind of in a little bit of a slump there.
Yep.
And Andy Pages hit yet another home run at Dodger Stadium, which apparently that's all he does. He doesn't hit home runs anywhere else,
Yeah,
right?
Jesse, I heard on the broadcast that was Pajes's 16th home run at Dodger Stadium this season. He hasn't hit a home run away from Dodger Stadium since April. I don't have the exact date, but yeah, kind of a
It's
crazy
wild.
stat. You would
Yeah,
think that would just like on accident happen like already, like you would hit one on the road, but hey, a
right.
little bit of home cooking is always nice. At least
But
he's at
the
20
big home
dingers,
run.
so
And that's good because that's fine. If he just performs at Dodger Stadium, that's fine. That's what we need Andy Pages to do. He's a home cooking killer. You know what I mean? He's dangerous in home games in the playoffs.
talk to me now.
I mean, the big hit was the Mookie Betts home run in the eighth inning yesterday off of Robert Suarez, which was kind of weird to see Suarez in the eighth inning. That was kind of a weird decision by Shildt to bring him in a non-save situation in the eighth. Probably a mistake by Shildt, but just a bomb by Mookie, and you could just like what that meant to him in that situation. You can't undersell it because it's been such a tough season for Mookie Betts, and just the quality of contact has just plummeted all season long, and to see him really get into one was good to see, especially when you consider it was his only hit of the series,
Hey,
and
man.
he made it count.
Exactly. It took the words right out of my mouth, dude. But if you're gonna get one hit, make it be
Yeah,
for the game. Make it against your rival. Make it give you up 2 games in
right.
a heated division race. So for
Think about
Mookie,
what it got.
Jesse,
Go ahead.
I think that this is that edge that the Dodgers have on the Padres. A lot of star talent on both teams, but there's a little bit of like fortitude that this team has just baked into it with that, big three, and not to take anything away from, the Dodgers guys that have been there like a Muncy or Will Smith or, now even Teo. But there's like a resilience in the moment that kind of makes them shine brightest, right? And maybe it was a little bit of taking your opponent for granted, like you were talking about earlier with the Angels, all season, embarrassingly enough. Um,
Yeah.
like we've heard guys talk about, this is going to be every other team's World Series whenever we show up into town or they roll up here, whatever. So maybe that's what it was for the Angels. If it is, good. I'm glad, get some merch done. But regarding the Padres, this was their opportunity to pull away in the division. They could have taken a commanding lead. Say we're sitting here talking about a Padres sweep. Like, oh my God, like what does that look like? That's a pistol in the mouth, and I'm just
Yeah.
going for it. But what happens, these little plays, we saw some errors out, from like Jackson Merrill in center field, and we saw, I forget who it was, get thrown out at second base from Pajes. These little
Yeah.
things that
And
make a
and
difference.
in game two, their big three, Merrill, Tatis, and Machado. I think it was Merrill as well. All three of them got thrown out by Will Smith trying to
Ooh.
steal. Will Smith threw out all three of them in the first two innings, trying to steal a base. I mean, that's like the ultimate just like rally killer gut punch that you could imagine for that
Yeah.
team. And I also think there's an element of like Mookie Betts being the guy to hit the game-winning home run. That's especially a gut punch for the Padres because
Yeah.
that's like the one guy that you can get out right now. The one
Yeah.
guy that's really struggling in the Dodgers' big three, and then you gave it up to him off of one of your best relievers. That's gotta hurt. But
Definitely.
to point out to your point about the Dodgers' fortitude, I think it's because the Dodgers deal with pressure in a way that the
Mm.
Padres will never have to deal with. No matter how much expectation there is and hype there is around the Padres when they make all these crazy moves at the deadline, when Preller goes nutso and just goes out and makes the big splash and puts this big team together, this monster Goliath of a bullpen that they have now. Still, there's not pressure on them the way that there's pressure on the Dodgers every day, no matter who they
Mm.
play. And it's like that saying, that Mookie had about how it's like a World Series for every team when they play us this year. It's kind of true. Like the Dodgers are dealing with that every single series. That anytime they lose to somebody, it's national headline news. So that just doesn't happen to the Padres. When the Padres lose, it makes local news. It doesn't make national news the way it does when the Dodgers do. And that's something the Padres will never have to deal with. And that's why this team has the fortitude that they have because they've gone through that shit together. And that's why they were so prepared for this series, dude. They're so prepared to play teams like the Padres because they're not afraid of losing anymore. They're just not.
Mm.
Padres are afraid
Wow.
of losing to the Dodgers. They really are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Print that. That's the title
Yeah.
of the episode. Yeah, man,
Well,
but it does feel like it's been the tale of two teams, right? And I don't mean the
yeah.
Padres and Dodgers. I mean the Dodgers themselves. And it kind of just goes back to like, are we healthy, or are we like coming back from injury? It's like a lot of guys are just kind of coming back from injury, working their way back into a routine. Now, some of the pitchers are back on a steady schedule, and we're seeing the dividends, right? Snell, Glass now. The pen's starting to get a little healthier, so we're seeing guys like Vesia and Treinen kind of figure it out. But it's been exciting, right? Like, you don't want Mookie Betts to get hot, right? If you're a Padre. So for that big hit to launch them into this, week of playing the Rockies and I forget who else before we go back to San Diego, you'd love to
It's
see
just
Mookie
it's
get
the
hot.
Rockies, then it's San Diego. Rockies, then San Diego. Yeah.
Okay, so we're right
Yeah.
back. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, you're really hoping we see Mookie get hot. Maybe Teo and Paez start making some contact as well on a little more regular basis. But boy, are those dingers sweet. And hopefully Muncy comes back sooner rather than later. But if they can at least get a series win in San Diego, you kind of feel like, all right, like, I mean, it's our division to lose at that point, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I mean, I still feel like it is our division to lose regardless. I mean, when you have a 9-game lead and then you blow
Totally.
it, it's kind of like you have to do what you want. You mentioned Muncy; he does have an oblique injury, so he hit the IL. So hopefully, it's on the lower end of the severity scale, and he's gonna be okay because we know what this team, what Max Muncy means to the Dodgers lineup. They're just so much better with him in the lineup. I did want to mention one thing before. I want to talk a little bit more about the Padres.
Hit me,
It,
Daddy.
one thing I forgot to
Get.
mention. We're talking about the bullpen,
Mm,
and somebody made an appearance this
mm.
weekend, that really just caught my eye. He looked so special. Edgardo Henriquez came in
Ooh.
he threw the hardest pitch other than Mason Miller. He threw the hardest pitch in Major League Baseball this season at 103.3 miles an hour. He's only pitched like 6 innings for the Dodgers this year, but he has been absolutely lights out. He does have some issues with control, but if they can tap into this kid and they can really get some consistency from him in terms of being able to throw strikes, this guy could be an absolute assassin out of the bullpen for the Dodgers, because he is disgusting, bro. He is so nasty.
Yeah, having that pocket 103.3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like again, take the words out of my mouth, why don't you, dude? It was just foul.
I'll take something out of your mouth, Daddy.
Hey, how dare you? All right,
yeah.
No diddy. But dude, I mean, it's just, we're talking about all these struggles, but the Dodgers this weekend held Manny Machado to a 1-12. Saw him even make a little fielding error over at third. I think Tatis had a couple of hits, but other than that, nothing major over this series. It just felt like we really neutralized their big names. Feels like the offense has Cease's number. He ceases to impress me.
Yeah, they threw their 2 best pitchers out there. Michael King is injured, so he wasn't able to pitch this series. But Cease and Darvish are their 2 best pitchers right now, and they both got shelled. I mean, at a certain point, do you think that Dylan Cease is seeing ghosts when he faces the Dodgers? Because I don't remember the last time I've seen Dylan Cease have a good outing against the Dodgers.
I was there when Shohei hit that home run against him at Dodger Stadium in the playoffs, and it was like a damn shotgun blast. So I bet he's shell-shocked, literally, dude. I think he's just he's just nervous.
Well, I think that he has PTSD facing Shohei, because he also... You remember when Shohei made his debut opening night? I think it was 2023 when he was pitching for the Angels. It was against the White Sox when Cease was still on the White Sox. Shohei comes out and strikes out the side or whatever, and then faces Dylan Cease in the first inning, and then hits 115 mile an hour exit velocity home run. I think Dylan Cease has some PTSD when he faces Shohei.
Dude, I think you nailed that on the head like a damn hammer, brother.
So,
the
Padres seemed to me to be a little bit nervous. The pressure was on for them to hold on to the lead in this division. But I also think that there was too much sort of built into this series from the Padres standpoint, more so than the Dodgers standpoint. I think they put unfair pressure on themselves a little bit, maybe.
That's true, dude.
Unnecessary pressure on themselves. And I think that it's bleeding into this idea of there being a rivalry between the Dodgers and the Padres, where
some of the hit by pitch stuff, right? You heard I saw a bunch of
that's what
Padres Twitter accounts we got 5 guys or whatever that touch 100. If they want to throw at Tatis, we'll throw at Shohei. And obviously some of the hit by pitch stuff did get silly, but it did lead to a little interesting interaction between the GOAT Shohei Ohtani and the Padres manager Mike Shildt.
You mean a lack of an interaction?
Oh, dude, tell me what happened, Jess.
So Shohei, he's notorious for being the most respectful,
a lot of decorum
player in all of professional sports. Maybe he apologizes when he hits a foul ball too hard towards your dugout. You know what I mean? This guy, he's very respectful. He always bows or gives a nod to the opposing team's coach. But this series, not once did he do so for Mike Shildt, the Padres coach. And this is following the last time that they played, when Shildt essentially admitted that the Padres were throwing at Shohei intentionally. Because Fernando Tatis had got hit a couple of times, because of the Andy Pages drama when Pages thought he was getting thrown at intentionally, all that stuff, which led to Shildt and Dave Roberts bumping chests at home plate, having a little bit of a brouhaha. Well, Shohei Ohtani said, I'm not bowing to Mike Shildt. That says a lot to me. That if Shohei Ohtani doesn't think you're worthy of a bow, you've got bigger problems, dude.
Whoa.
You got problems.
Do you think the like absence of a bow is like the presence of a middle finger? Do you think that's the equivalent of that?
I think it's the closest you will see to Shohei Ohtani basically calling you a slur. You know what I mean? Like this
Ooh.
is like your fucking this is the closest you will see to Shohei Ohtani, yeah, like flipping you off, calling you a motherfucker. You know what I mean? That's the closest you'll see.
I did. I think you're right. It feels like a very professional way to say, "Hey, man, not cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
I
taking this
didn't
from
like
you."
that. I didn't think that that was professional.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to think that there was a moment where he looked over to get the bow from Shohei, and when he didn't get it, he knew he's like, "Oh man, we're in a beef."
I mean, it's like it's almost like you dishonored me. You dishonored me. You know,
Whoa, we're bringing
that's
honor
big.
into this now.
Yeah, I mean it's big in Japanese culture.
That's
That this is
big.
like respect and honor and all that stuff. Like Mike Shildt doesn't play by that code. So Shohei Ohtani let him know he does not
Whoa,
like that. So
Bushido.
yeah,
That's
I thought
heavy.
here's the thing. I didn't go back to vet this information. I didn't go back to like rewatch every at bat by Shohei, but I'm trusting some sources on it that posted about this. Uh, and if that's a thing, like I don't know, I think it's cool that Shohei didn't do it, even though it's really not that big of a deal. It's still cool. It just says a lot to me.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
bit of a nothing, but I like it still, just because I gotta
yeah,
tell you, I was a it's a not rivalry thing forever. And look, the Giants are the Dodgers' rival. That's what it is.
yeah,
However, we do got a little brother, and he's being a bit of a rascal. Bret Hart
right.
had to beat up Owen Hart a little bit. Just saying, may he rest in peace. But
Right. Padres are the current placeholders for the Giants. That's basically all it is. They're a stopgap for the Giants Dodgers rivalry until the Giants, figure their shit out again. You know what I mean? Like that's
totally,
Padres just sort of stepping up and they're filling in for the time being. That's it.
it's
Quick
fun.
question:
Hmm.
Is Fernando Tatis Jr. overrated?
My heart, my heart wants to say no.
Yeah,
But my heart's fucking dumb, dude. Yeah, dude, he's overrated. That guy's a freaking cheater, pumpkin eater. He's
yeah,
using juice and Jess. If I'm correct, this guy hasn't hit a home run in freaking years. Not
yeah.
literally, but it's been a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, he hasn't hit a home run in a while, and all of it, he really was not impactful in this series. Got thrown out stealing bases. Also, something I've noticed, like for a guy that was a shortstop, has a really good arm. He sure doesn't really make good throws to home. Like whenever I see like the Dodgers like trying to challenge his arm in right field, he always seems to be offline. I don't know. I'm just something is going on with Fernando Tatis because if I'm a Padres fan, I'd start getting a little frustrated. He's having a decent season, but remember before the season started, you and I were talking about how Sports Illustrated picked him to be the MVP over Shohei Ohtani, and we were just looking at
Yeah.
this like, what the hell are these people? This is just clickbait. This is nonsense. And I mean, I just feel like we are so justified
Oh,
in how we
100%.
approached that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious how Padre fans, if they're tolerant enough to watch us this whole episode and they've gotten to this part without wanting to kill themselves. Curious what you guys think about Tatis and how he's performing because I still think he's a great player, but there's something about him doesn't sit right with me where it feels like he not a flash in the pan, but we've seen the best of Fernando Tatis, and
Ooh.
I don't think he's ever gonna be like he's not on like the Mookie Betts stardom level in my eyes. So, all
I
right,
agree with you. I do think that we've seen the best of Fernando Tatis, and that's not me being a
yeah,
hater, but I mean, I think he hasn't hit a home run since May 27th, dude. That's the last one I can find. That's crazy to me.
that is insane if that's true. Hold on a second.
Double check me, dude.
Well, I like to look through. I look through my fantasy baseball app because I'm able to go through their full game logs very easily. And if I'm looking here, July 24th, he hit one.
There we go. Okay.
July 10th. So he has two home runs in the last 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean that's got to be frustrating for Padre
Wow.
fans. 2 home runs in the
Totally.
last 2 months. All right.
And I wonder if something's been going on with his swing or something, because that's a long time for a guy that's supposed to be a perennial MVP candidate.
Yeah, I something about that whole team just sits weird with me. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like Machado as the leader, and yeah, yeah. All right.
That's the
So
deferred collusion
yeah,
aspect,
that's a
dude.
great take by me. Something's off, man.
So
Uh,
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
about
Something
these
weird's
guys,
happening, man.
man.
Yeah.
Something's
I don't know
not
what it
right,
is.
man.
Yeah. Um. All right. So yeah, Muncy oblique injury. We'll wait to see about
I gotta get my
that.
Muncie healthy, dude.
Yeah. Roki Sasaki had he pitched a simulated game where he was throwing 97 miles an hour at Dodger Stadium, and then he goes and he does a rehab start at Oklahoma City where his velocity dropped down into like the low 90s, like 93, 94. And Dave Roberts did say in a quote that it was surprising to see how much his velocity dropped. What's your concern level here with Roki? Apparently, he had trouble throwing strikes and he didn't look that good.
Well, Jesse, if you recall, I predicted that Roki Sasaki's season, for all intents and purposes at the big league level, was over for this year. So when we heard news that he was rehabbing and likely to return, we were overjoyed. You know, it was
Yeah.
something I wanted to be wrong about, but it did feel like there was maybe some, I don't know, maybe mechanics that needed to be changed. Maybe he was tipping some pitches, and more so, it seemed like he lost his command and velo at times both, at times one or the other.
Right.
But this rehab start, and like Dave said, it being a little surprising makes me kind of think there's a bigger psychological problem at play here. Maybe it's tied in with physical. We've talked about that with Glass now. He's a big guy, a lot of moving parts, and when something feels out of sync, it's like a Rue Goldberg effect, or machine, where it's like, oh, this is all just kind of a calamity of errors now, and it's just not working them right. So
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we're seeing a young guy with a ton of pressure put on by himself to succeed and join his countrymen, and the spearhead of this new samurai, Team Japan, like in the
Well,
MLBs. I'm not being racist. That's what they called the Japanese national team a couple years ago that won it all. But
okay.
I think he's got the yips, dude. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
And I was trying to say any other way, dude. I kind of feel like Roki's got the yips. I was trying to any other way to say it, but I put it out there now. I'm going to hell, dude.
No, I mean, look, in terms of like concern, I'm very concerned for this season and this season only. I'm concerned that
I'm
he's,
big concerned.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not good. The fastball doesn't according to all the analytics nerds, the fastball doesn't profile well if he's not hitting 97, 98 miles an hour.
Hmm.
So if he's not sitting high 90s, he's probably not gonna be effective. I mean, he gave up six hits in 2 innings and gave up
Hmm.
3 runs. And so, that's just his confidence is taking a hit every time one of these happens. I feel like the Dodgers would be better served at this point to just shut him down.
I
Just shut him
agree.
down this season
Totally.
and let him sort of rehab in any way he needs to. Find a way to get his confidence back because you're going to throw him in the middle of a playoff race.
Yeah,
And
he's not ready for that. He's not ready for
it's
that.
just that could do irreparable damage to his confidence to come up and and just get shelled in a big game in a big moment just because they want to justify all the
Yeah.
recruiting to land this phenom from Japan who has been far from a phenom this year. And in terms of like the problems that the Dodgers have had this year, Roki Sasaki is not like at the top of the list at all.
Totally.
Like there's Tanner Scott, there's Michael Conforto, there's the injury bug for guys like Snell and Glass now. Like Roki Sasaki is not a big problem for the Dodgers this year. Don't make him into one. Like that would be
Mhm.
my best take on the situation. So, I hope for the best because I think that if he pans out as a star, you have an ace for the next 5, 6 years on your team. So,
Yeah, man.
I
I think right now it's a big if, and I don't. I don't doubt that he can come back from this.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it does feel
He's
like
only
this year might be a
23.
little
Keep
soon
that in
for
mind.
him.
Yeah.
But we've seen this recently. A guy coming back from injury in Gavin Lux, with all the pressure in the world to be the Dodgers starting shortstop, and you saw him crying after the knee gets blown out, and he worked so hard to get back, and it wasn't right. You saw the guy pushing, and he was making these routine plays look, horrendous, just making the worst throwing errors. And it was clear, like, oh my God, this guy's like almost expecting to fail every time the ball comes near him. And it was at the plate, in the
Yeah.
field. So I'm just saying, it wouldn't surprise me to learn that Roki's going through something similar. I just got a
Or
hunch.
or that surgery could be on the way. That's another one that
Fair.
we don't want
I'm
to
just
hear
saying,
about.
I'm just saying that in an analytics driven, world that we're at right now, if you got a guy that's staring at the gun after every pitch, he's not really
Yeah.
thinking about pitching, right? He's thinking about are my mechanics perfect, everything
Right.
but, right? You're kind of
Right. Yeah.
trying to create this perfect repetition, and it's a little bit more than that, right? And I think, again, kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, it's why I think maybe a guy like Kershaw is going to be invaluable to the growth of Roki Sasaki.
Okay. I stand corrected then. Um, So we'll wait and see on that. They're still kind of in the midst of deciding what they're going to do for his next rehab start. It hasn't been decided when he's pitching again, but
Shut
we'll
him down. Shut
yeah.
him down.
Um, the big news before we wrap here was on Sunday Night Baseball. We're gonna get into actual MLB talk now. Rob Manfred was doing an interview with the Sunday Night Baseball crew during the Mets and Mariners game. The little league game where all the kids are behind home plate for
Super
players
cute.
weekend.
So
Like
cool.
all the pencil bats and things like that. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things that MLB does. Well, Manfred was talking about the potential for not only realignment in the league, but also expansion for the league. And he basically said that he almost implied that it's a given at this point that this is going to happen. He said in his quote, he says,
Yawn.
I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign, meaning that if we add more teams, this means that the league will be realigned a little bit. He says, I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. I think a postseason format would be even more appealing for entities like ESPN because you'd be playing out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock where we sometimes get Boston and Anaheim would be two West Coast teams. That 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. Manfred said he wants to have the locations of the new teams picked out by the time he retires in 2029, although the clubs won't yet be playing. Oh, sorry, that's a part of the quote. Anyways, Manfred has long said expansion will follow after the Rays and Athletics complete their long-running quest for new stadiums. So, good idea, bad idea. What are your thoughts? Like on the potential for like the New York Mets switching over to the American League and being in the same division as the New York Yankees. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I don't hate the idea. First of all, I like the idea of expansion. I love the idea of more teams. I don't like the idea of like, owners like, I don't know, John Fisher getting into the league. I'm sure there's going to be more dicks like that, but the idea of growing the league is just always exciting to me. So I'm all for that. The like districting, if you will, I don't know. Some of it sounds kind of cool, but like you said, like for the Mets and the Yankees to be in the same division, it kind of feels like a little bit of a waste because you have such a natural rivalry now that it like does that kind of overshadow the Boston Yankees rivalry because now it's so localized? I don't know.
Right.
Am I overthinking that?
No, I mean this is sort of what happened like when the Marlins and the Rockies joined the league. You needed to move the Astros over to the American League, and then because the Expos also who did the
Yeah.
Expos? They became the Rays, and then so the Rays got added to the American League. So they needed to like shuffle the board a little bit. So I could kind of understand it from that point. Like if there's too many American League teams, you need to like kind of switch things up a little bit, or too many National League teams, you need to switch things up. The weird thing about it is, expansion, when you're already, the idea of expansion, when you already have an issue with like some teams having like attendance problems, not being able to fill out stadiums. There's all of these like TV rights deals going on, and now you're talking about expansion when there are teams that are literally like begging the league for money. They already need like money from teams like the Dodgers to sort of subsidize, their lack of spending, their unwillingness to invest in their teams. And now you want to add to that. It kind of feels like this is like a way of like creating more parity in a league that's like unwilling to spend money itself to get themselves out of the doldrums of being like a crappy, mediocre team that feels like they can't compete with the Dodgers or the Padres or the Yankees or the Red Sox or whoever because they're unwilling to spend money. I mean, look at this story that we just heard about, like the Pirates once again, like with who
Andrew Heaney.
Well, yeah. So last year, they were Rowdy Tellez 4 at bats away from getting a bonus, and then they cut him loose before he could get that bonus with like 2 weeks left in the season. The same exact thing's happening again this year, where Andrew Heaney, who is pitching like crap, let's be honest. There's other reasons why, but he's getting moved to the bullpen, even though he's been a starting pitcher all year long, because he has these built-in benchmarks for his contract where if he hits 130 innings, he gets like a 50K bonus. If he hits 140 innings, he gets 150K bonus, 100K, and then it's 150K each 10 innings after that. They're cutting him short and sending him to the bullpen with like a month and a half left in the season.
Yeah,
basically,
and
they're not going to have to pay those 150K bonuses that he's set to get. You want to expand the league so we have more of that shit,
right?
I'm not against it. I just think we have to fix the league we have now. First.
I totally agree. I think that's a great point.
That,
look at the Twins, for example. They just had a fire sale at the deadline, got rid of everybody, and then their owners go, "Hey, we're not going to sell the team anymore after looking around. We're going to hang on to it." It's like, so you didn't get an offer you wanted because you guys are like $500 million in debt currently, and you haven't really harbored the most competitive team you could for years now. And
expanding, you have a team leaving Oakland, a great like sports city, where like they had the Raiders, they had the Warriors, they have these great fans. They couldn't make money there apparently, or so they say. They leave, and now we're talking. They're going to go to Vegas.
They had a waterfront property opportunity.
What are we going to do?
That would have been right there. And with the Raiders out of town, and the Warriors moving out of the city, it's like, dude, you were the only show in town. You could have had a stranglehold on that market. Instead, you're like, hey, we're going to go to Sacramento for an indefinite amount of time. Don't call us the Sacramento A's. Actually, we're going to Vegas. Look at this rented equipment that we have. But I guess they're still like grading. Like, dude, that thing's not going to be done in fucking 2 years or whatever it's supposed to be ready. 3 years. Like,
Guess what, Brandon? The two teams that were the most recent expansion teams that we had, the 3 most recent expansion teams that we have in baseball are the Rockies, Rays, and Marlins. Who are the 3 teams that are like unwilling to spend any money? We're talking about the Rays are already like talking about like we should go back to Montreal for like half a season maybe. Like we'll spend half of the season in Montreal, half the season.
That is wild.
The Marlins, who literally sell at the deadline every single year, have not given out a big contract since Giancarlo Stanton. They are perennial losers and penny pinchers. The Rockies, who
they have great attendance too. A beautiful ballpark. Great attendance,
won't
Rockies
spend any money on anything.
Dude.
Those are expansion franchises, the most recent examples that we have of this, and they have all been failed products for the most part, other than the Marlins winning 2 World Series in fluky seasons. You know what I mean? Like, guess what they did with those? Nothing. They pocketed the money and they sold off their teams. You know what I mean? So, what does expanding the league really do? It's just more of the same, and I'm just not like against the idea of progressing and like adding teams. I just think that like there's so much corruption and so much
Yeah,
fucking
there
greed
is
in
an
the
ownership problem for sure.
and like fix that shit. It's like you're making it a not a you're making the solution the problem is being how do I want to describe this? You're trying to solve the problem by adding to what is already causing the problem. You know
Definitely.
what I'm saying? And like just throw more shit at the wall, hope that it sticks. Pour gasoline on the fire, and it's just frustrating for me. So
It really is. I mean, it's like you said, dude. We have some dirtball owners, and then you have franchises that are in it to like make the most of like a future Hall of Famer's career. You know, like obviously the Dodgers with Mookie, Shohei, Freddie, Clayton. You know, an embarrassment of riches. But you know, you see the same thing with the Yankees. They're going for it with Aaron Judge, even though it seems like it's kind of all falling apart. You know. Hell, the Astros did it with Altuve. You've seen it around, you know, and like you can tell the difference. And like, you know, Phillies with Bryce Harper. You know, I saw a crazy thing that Bryce Harper has been with the Phillies now 7 years, which is the same amount of time as he was with
I
the
know
Nationals. What the hell? Time flies.
that's so weird. I saw that stat and I was like, wait, he's been around for 14 years.
Crazy, right?
I remember he
So
was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I'm like, that's wild.
yeah. So my point, my long-winded point is just that it's like, you know, like there are some franchises that are clearly trying to win and maximize these, you know, generational talents' opportunity to put a championship on the mantle. And then there are other teams that are happy to sit back, collect their revenue sharing, and, you know, spend the bare minimum season after season while not investing in any fan experience, while not investing in any players, or giving back any substantive, you know, reason to be a fan. Like you, for example, the A's going to Vegas. Who the fuck wants to be a fan of that franchise? Even if you live in Vegas and you're a baseball fan, like who wants to support this franchise? Like this owner? There's nothing like endearing about that. And like I give the players credit. There's so much talent that comes out of that organization, and guys like, you know, Dallas Braden are like this mouthpiece for a whole freaking community of A's fans that are like, you know, feeling disenfranchised. And you know, it's crazy, but like all that history is just kind of washed away. And to your point, you know, do we want more owners that are gonna be like that? You know, just like, you know what, we're in a neighborhood I don't really care for, so I'm gonna just tank a team and pull it out of a community
Yeah.
and just say deuces, I'm gonna go to this state, you know, whatever, and use public funds to fund my business. So
Yeah, and I'm not like a boomer about the you know realignment, like maybe the Mets moving to the AL or something like that. Like to be honest, at this point, like we play you know National League teams play American League teams the same amount as they play National League teams anyway. We all play each other. Like you play American League teams
yeah.
twice regardless. You play 7 games against each team, no matter what league they're in. So at a certain point, it's kind of like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
We can be more like the NBA. That's fine. But like, you know, only if there's you know reasons beyond like let's just like. We're trying to solve a problem that we created. Let's fix the problem you created first, rather than add to it. And you know,
Absolutely. And that's what kind of feels so annoying about this, right? Was it feels like Fisher knew he could tank the A's because Manfred had his back, and you know the other owners weren't going to push him, and you know I don't know. I'm just like let's get these guys out that don't
Well,
want to
because
be owners.
if you're a businessman and you show other businessmen like, see, look at the money that I
Yeah,
see, look at my profit margins. Like I'm only making 10 million a year when I could be making 20.
yeah,
You know, or
exactly.
and then it's like, oh well, yeah, then you got to tank that fucking business, and we're gonna find you a better place to, you know, it's bullshit. I mean, look at just I don't know. I could go on and on about this, but I mean, look at how like that series in Tampa Bay went. Like because they're playing without a dome right now. It was like unbearable to play in that humidity. That's why why, and now they're gonna move a team to Las Vegas where like you can only play with a dome during the summer in the summer.
And
Like,
and another fascinating thing too is that tourism is down in Vegas like pretty heavily, and it's like
yeah,
that's supposed to be the main draw of this team is that it's like, hey, come see Major League Baseball in Vegas. But it's not like the Golden Knights who are a standalone franchise, or a team like beginning in Vegas. It's like, I think there was like the Las Vegas Aviators out there and stuff like that, the AAA
yeah,
affiliate, but it's like I don't know. It just all doesn't make sense to me, and it feels so sloppily done that it doesn't really give me the biggest vote of confidence that the newest owners to expansion franchises are going to be maybe the most qualified for the job, and it's going to be just
yeah.
some dickheads with ties to Manfred. I don't
It,
know. That's
yeah,
just my
it also just
conspiracy.
Yeah, it also just feels like this is something like Manfred just like needs something to be remembered for, and he's like, oh yeah, like realignment and
It does
expansion.
feel like that, huh?
That's
Like,
gonna be my legacy. Like he just needs like something to be remembered for. Like
yeah. Remember the
but
Manfred move?
you know what I'm thinking about though? Like before we go, we're about to wrap. This just because apparently in expansion, like you're basically like one of your 17 players gets can go into an expansion draft. You're allowed to keep
Hmm.
16 in an expansion draft. So once you get to 17, that player is up for expansion draft. I'm already pissed about that player that the Dodgers are going to have to lose in this. I don't know who that player is yet, but I'm already mad about it
Pisses
because the
me off,
Dodgers
dude.
draft better and they assess players better than anybody else. So I'm already mad about losing them. All right. Branden, this was fun. Well done. This was a good episode. We'll be back next week. Maybe we'll recap the Padres series over the weekend. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, Dodgers take on the Rockies. Yamamoto's on the mound tonight. And then we go back to San Diego, finish what we started, see if those Padres can bounce back or if they are just perennial little brothers. Branden, love you, buddy.
Mm.
This was fun.
Jesse, it's always a pleasure to get to talk ball with you. You
Mhm.
know I love you. Hey, if we fucking get swept by the Rockies, I'm gonna blow my brains out. But
Oh,
let me
it's on
make
the
this
table, buddy.
prediction, Jesse. I'm gonna make this prediction right now. If the Dodgers win the series against the Colorado Rockies, they will in fact win the series against the Padres in San Diego.
Love it. That's a hot take. That's a spicy one. All
And if
right.
they lose, expect a loss in San Diego.
Oh shit. Well, all right. Who are the
I gotta
Padres?
live by the sword, die by the sword. But Jess, it's always a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been another episode of Deferred Collusion, your blue collar boys. That's Jesse the King Rowe, Lord Paramount over here, and we'll see you next time.
Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Oh yeah, all that. Later.